Screen is not coming up.
We'll select from the tray. You hold your mouse. Over your mouse over the screen. Yeah, this is the tray. So
Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, Text 57. Kvachit pibhantyam pibhati matiram madavipalaha asnantyam kvachit asnanti chajatyam sahachachyati. There are so many other verses. I'm just going on to the translation. Kvachit, sometimes. Pibantyam, while drinking. Pibati, he drank. Madiram, liquor. Madavivalaha, been intoxicated. Asnantyam, while she was eating. Kvachit, sometimes. Asnanti, he ate. Cha jaktyam, while she was chewing. Saha, with her. Chachiti, he chewed. Kvachit, sometimes. Gayati, he used to sing. Gayantyam, while his wife was singing. Rudatyam, when the wife was crying. Rudati, he also cried. Hare Krsna. Hasantyam, while she was laughing. Harsati, he also laughed. Jalpantyam, while she was talking loosely. Anu, following her. Jalpati, he also talked loosely. Kvachit, sometimes. Davati, he also used to walk. Davantyam, when she was walking. Tistantyam, while she was standing silently. Anu, following her. Tistati, he used to stand. Anu, following her. Shete, he used to lie down. Sayanam, while she was lying on the bed. Anu, following her. Aste, he also used to sit. Kvachit, sometimes. Asatim, while she was sitting. Kvachit, sometimes. Shrunoti, he used to hear. Shrunvantyam, while she was engaged in hearing. Pashyantyam, while she was saying something. Anu, following her. Pashyati, he also used to see. Kvachit, sometimes. Jikrati, he used to smell. Jikrantyam, while his wife was smelling. Sparsantyam, while the wife was touching. Sparshati, he was also touching. Kvachit, at that time. Kvachit, cha, sometime also. Sochatim, while she was lamenting. Jayam, his wife. Anu, following her. Sochati, he was also lamenting. Dinavat, like a poor man. Anu, following her. Rishyati, he used to enjoy. Rishyantyam, while she was feeling enjoyment. Muritam, when she was satisfied. Anu, following her, modate, he felt satisfaction. Translation: when the queen drank liquor, King Puranjan was also engaged in drinking. When the queen dined, he used to dine with her. And when she chewed, King Puranjan used to chew along with her. When the queen sang, he also sang. Similarly, when the queen cried, he also cried. And when the queen laughed, he also laughed. When the queen talked loosely, he also talked loosely. And when the queen walked, the king walked behind her. Who's the king and who's the queen? And when the queen would stand still, the king would also stand still. And when the queen would lie down in the bed, he would also follow and lie down with her. When the queen sat, he would also sit, and the queen heard something, he would follow her to hear the same thing. When the queen saw something, the king would also look at it, and when the queen smelled something, the king would follow her to smell the same thing. When the queen touched something, the king also would touch it, and when the dear queen was lamenting, the poor king also had to follow her in lamentation. In the same way, when the queen felt enjoyment, he also enjoyed, and when the queen was satisfied, the king was also satisfied. Purport by Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The mind is the place where the self is situated. And when the mind is conducted by the intelligence, the living entity situated within the heart follows the intelligence. Intelligence is herein depicted as the queen, and the soul under the mental control follows the material intelligence just as the king follows his wife. The conclusion is that material intelligence is the cause of bondage for the living entity. The point is that one has to take to spiritual intelligence to come out of this entanglement. In the life of Maharaj Ambarish, we find that the great Maharaj first engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, and this way his intelligence became purified. Maharaj Ambarish also used his other senses in the service of the Lord. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity in the temple, nicely decorated with flowers. He engaged his sense of smell by smelling the flowers, and engaged his legs by walking to the temple. His hands were engaged in cleansing the temple, and his ears were engaged in hearing about Krishna. His tongue was engaged in two ways, in speaking about Krishna and in tasting prasada offered to the deity. Materialistic person who under the full control of material intelligence cannot perform all these activities. Thus consciously or unconsciously, they become entangled by the dictation of material intelligence. This fact is summarized in the following verse. Vipralabdho maishaivam sarva prakriti vanchitaha nechan anukaroti agyaha klaibyat kridamrugoyata. And this way King Puranjan was captivated by his nice wife and was thus cheated. And then he became cheated in his whole existence in the material world. Even against that poor foolish king's desire, he remained under the control of his wife, just like a pet animal that dances according to the order of his master. Purport. The word Vipralabdha is very significant in this verse. Vi means specifically and Pralabdha means obtain. Just to satisfy his desire, the king got the queen, and thus he became cheated by material existence. Although he was not willing to do so, he remained a pet animal under the control of material intelligence. Just as a pet monkey dances according to the desires of his master, the king danced according to the desires of the queen. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 552 it is said, Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahom Vimukte. If one associates with a saintly person, a devotee, one's path of liberation becomes clear. But if one associates with a woman or with one person who is too much addicted to a woman, his path of bondage becomes completely clear. On the whole, for spiritual advancement, one must give up the company of women. This is what is meant by the order of sannyasa, the renounced order. Before taking sannyasa, or completely renouncing the material world, one has to practice avoiding illicit sex. Sex life, illicit or illicit, is practically the same. But through illicit sex, one becomes more captivated. By regulating one's sex life, there is a chance that one may eventually be able to renounce sex or renounce the association of women. If this can be done, advancement in spiritual life becomes very easily. How one becomes captivated by association of one dear wife is explained in this chapter by Narada Muni. Attraction for one's wife means attraction for material qualities. One who is attracted by the material quality of darkness is in the lowest stage of life, whereas one who is attracted by the material quality of goodness is in a better position. Sometimes we see that when a person is on the platform of material goodness, he is attracted more or less by the cultivation of knowledge. This, of course, is a better position, for knowledge gives one the preference to accept devotional service. Unless one comes to the platform of knowledge, the Brahma-bhuta stage, one cannot advance in devotional service, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Brahma-bhuta prasnatma na shochite na kanchate samaha sarva-bhuteshu mad-bhakti labhate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything, is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. The platform of knowledge is advantageous because it is a means by which one may come to the stage of devotional service. However, if one takes to devotional service directly, knowledge is revealed without separate endeavor. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajochitaha Jana Yatya Suvairagyam Jnanam Chayan Haitukam. Devotional service automatically reveals actual knowledge of our material existence. One who is sufficiently intelligent immediately attains the stage of renunciation of so-called society, family and love, as well as other things. As long as we are attached to the material world, attached to the society, family and love, the material world, there is no question of knowledge. Nor is there a question of devotional service. By directly taking the devotional service, however, one becomes filled with knowledge and renunciation. In this way, one's life becomes successful. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th canto, 25th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Descriptions of Characteristics of King Puranjan. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gnanam Gnanaishvakaya Chakshuzanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Satvitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamam Dadati Swaparandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Saji Satvitam Shavadutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Shagan Vidamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Gandha Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavano Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namaram Vishnu Padaya Staya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samiti Namine Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Asyadya Desadarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you very much coming and joining us with our Bhagavatam class. So this is the last two verses of the chapter, that how our intelligence can be ruined. So this is explained, this is a story, but this point is explained in the Bhagavad Gita because the queen symbolizes the material intelligence or contaminated intelligence, and the king is the mind or the soul. Okay. So you see here in this verse, I'm sure you know this by heart. Jayato Vishayam Pumsam Sangateshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha Vijayate. So this verse, Krishna is explaining very simply that when we meditate on a Vishaya, this Vishaya means sense gratification, and by that association, Sangha, you develop Kama, sense gratification, lust. When lust comes, then anger comes, Kama Krodha. Then what happens? While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from the attachment, lust develops, and lust, anger rises. So now, when anger, Krodhat bhavati sammoha, you see that when you become angry, then you lose your intelligence. This is moha. When you get illusion, then you lose your smriti. Smriti means intelligence actually. Vibhramaha means you become, you bewildered. And when your intelligence bewildered, this is smriti, remembrance, bewildered. Buddhi naso, intelligence is gone. And when your intelligence is gone, then you see the word parnashati, you are ruined. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, the bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So this point, these two verses, has been exemplified by Narada Muni with the allegorical story of this king and the queen. So why particularly he chose this queen and the queen? Because this is actually the sum and substance of the fall down of the living entity. So when the living entity, he associates with the material intelligence, referring to the women here, embodiment, then his spiritual intelligence is gone. Because his whole intention is to, like the king here, to satisfy the queen. So the focus is shifted from satisfying Krishna, it is shifted to satisfying his. And I've seen also devotees, even they are devotees, they understand, but they are trying to do now devotional service through their wife. You understand? Huh? If the wife says yes, then yes. If the wife says no, then no. You understand? So this is how the intelligence is getting people. This 2 point is also explained in the 11th canto, the same thing, how material intelligence is so dangerous. Because the woman, she is the embodiment of the mode of passion. And she is geared for material enjoyment. So, if we do not uplift the woman, the mode of passion, to the mode of goodness, and if we succumb to the mode of passion, then our spiritual life is also finished. So it's very important to understand this. It is not that we are critical of the woman or critical of the man or whatever. But Jaya Srila Prabhupada. This is how the sum and substance of attachment is explained. See, this is also explained in that verse. Pumsam, idam pumsam, stri maituna etat, yes? What is that? 5? 5, huh? 558? This verse, Pumsa Sri Mituna Bhavametat Tayor Mitor Hridaya Granti Raho To Graha Chetra Sutapta Vidyai Janasya Moho Yam Hamameti. So the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, see the point here? The basis of this misconception, which is ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. So, how this illusion works is explained one thing after the other. When the man and woman they unite, then they become attracted to the body, then to the home, property, children, relatives, wealth, one thing after the other. And he becomes so conditioned, thinking in terms of I and mine. So when a person falls down to this consciousness, then his spiritual life vanishes. His chances of developing an attraction for Krishna become very much covered. So therefore, association with women is very much restricted. A woman is only allowed in the Varnashram system only in one ashram. That is the Grahastha ashram. They are not allowed in the Brahmachari or in the Vanapras, they stay with conditions, the wife. But in the sannyas, totally forbidden. Practically is only the Grahastha ashram. So therefore, the man has to know, if he is entering this ashram, the pitfalls of this ashram. Of course, they are always very caring and loving. They think they should share the load and they should be, give and take and equal and all. They think like that. Oh, like here today's verse, that no, we just please my wife. If I please her, then home sweet home. If I don't please her, then home becomes hell. You understand? So the whole idea is centered on the wife, not on Krishna. So if the wife is also not spiritually strong, then she will take advantage. You understand? If she doesn't know nothing, then she thinks, his duty is to please me. That's, see, oh, you don't love me. That's the famous word. Oh, you don't love me. See how the whole mental nonsense. You understand? And she doesn't realize, like a kid. I see this Narayani, this little girl. The moment you don't give, throw a tantrum, crying. This is kid. But the grown up, they don't do like that, jumping and crying. But they do differently. Understand? And then the man, he gets a headache. See? So these things are very detrimental for spiritual life. You understand? Very dangerous. Because the woman is not trained and she gets away. She thinks her whole life will be successful if she keeps a man under her pawn. And if the man is a dancing dog in the hands of the women, then what happens? They both go to hell. You understand? Yes, of course, this verse is there today, it's explained here. I never read one verse that once you associate with woman, you go to the spiritual world. Is there a verse like that? But she must be helping him spiritually.
Not he helping her materially.
You see, in this verse, you see, this is Sanskrit, very Mahatsevam dvaram aham vimukte, tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam. What is this tamodvaram? Tamodvaram is the spiritual world. What is that? One can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to the highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are either impersonalists and devotees. Whether one wants to merge in the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, one should render service to the Mahatmas. For those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people who are fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. The Mahatmas are equiposed. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and fully engaged in devotional service. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas. You understand this point? So the women's association is very detrimental, very dangerous. Because even how great and powerful the man is, there's no way he can handle. You can see in this place, in this verse 51. See here, this is, what's his name? Uchukunda. Having conquered the entire circle of directions and been thus free of conflict, a man sits on a splendid throne, receiving praise from the leaders who were once his equal. But when he enters the woman's chamber, where sex pleasure is found, he is led about like a pet animal, O Lord. So that. You see how the woman is so powerful. So powerful king, but when he goes to the woman, he's finished. He's led about like a pet animal. A king who desires even greater power than he already has strictly performs his duty, carefully practicing austerity and foregoing sense enjoyment. But he whose urges are so rampant, thinking that I am independent and supreme, cannot attain happiness. Hmm? And it says here in this verse, you can see here, among all kinds of living entities begotten by Brahma, namely man, demigods and animals, none but the sage Narayan is immune to the attraction of Maya in the form of a woman. So nobody is not been able to be subdued by the woman. How powerful! Eh? Just try to understand the mighty strength of my Maya in the shape of a woman, who by the mere movement of her eyebrows can keep even the greatest conquerors of the world under her grip. Understand how powerful she is? This is the power of the woman in the form of Maya. So therefore, the education system of a brahmachari system is training one to become very, very, what we say, be forewarned about the power of the women. Okay? I think this verse is there, no? Brahmachari Gurukule. Huh? Huh? Before this was 37. Huh? So this is how the women of today, they are manipulating all the men. And the society, all the men has become playthings. They have lost their spiritual direction. And the man is finished, is weakened, then spiritually it's suicide for both. It is not that she controls and she gets the house going and everything. It doesn't work like that. This is not the system. Because if you are contaminated by, as Krishna says, by material intelligence, then memory is lost, bewilderment, and fall down. It is not that if the woman controls, then you fall up. There is no such thing. You understand? The woman cannot lead spiritually. It's not possible. You understand? This is not the... Because the role of the woman is clearly defined by Lord Krishna himself. You know, what is that? 10:29, is it?
Yeah.
What's the verse? 10:29?
27.
27. So this is the definition of the women's role by Lord Krishna himself. No, not this. Before this, is it? See here, I think it's before. Yeah, it's before.
Yeah. 24. 25.
Okay, see. The highest religious duty of a woman is to sincerely serve her husband. behave well toward the husband's family and take good care of her children. And if she tried to become the guru in the house, that doesn't work. So she should understand her role. Everybody has got roles, correct? So they should understand what is my duty. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, it's better to do your duty than another's duty even well, perfectly. Yeah, where is that verse? 3? We'll go there, we'll come back here. Sri Krishna says here again, no, not this one. The woman's duty, 35. See here, it is far better to discharge one prescribed duty even though faultily. Is this the translation? I don't remember this word. In the other one, what is the translation? See, who has the other books? I don't remember this word faultily. Huh? Who's got the Macmillan? Original, what is it says? I don't remember this word faultily. It's far better to discharge one prescribed described duties, even though faultily, than another's duty perfectly. Discretion in the course of performing one duty is better than engaging in another's duty. For to follow another's path is dangerous.
The original one reads, it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties even though they may be faulty than another's duties.
Oh.
Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, so to follow another's path is dangerous.
You see this point here? So it's not that there's equal, there is no such thing as equal, no. It's different. The man's role is to lead spiritually. That's his job. He gets entangled with a woman and he gets his intelligence ruined by material consciousness. Then spiritually he weakens himself. And if the woman takes over the lead, then she is going to, jeopardize everything. This same point is spoken 2 times in the Bhagavad Gita, not just once. What is the other one? 18?
48. No. 47.
Huh? 47. No, 49. See again, in the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna again stressed this point. It's better to engage in one's own occupation even though one may perform it imperfectly. Just now it is said faultily, right? Now it is said imperfectly. Than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one nature is never affected by sinful reaction. You understand this point? So we have to know our prescribed duty. Not that we simply whimsically or feel good. Their philosophy. If you feel good, do it. Yeah? If you feel good, you do it. This is nonsense. Understand? This is why the whole thing is ruined. Huh? So if they understand their role, that no, I am conditioned, I need help from a spiritually advanced person, I should take shelter of him, and submit. The spiritual master or the husband, in this case, he should act like the guru for the wife. Not that he acts as a disciple for the wife. Huh? The wife is crying, today my back is paining. Oh, the guru says, alright, go sleep. Huh? What? Understand? It's a duty of the husband to wake the wife up. Because if he doesn't, then he also goes down the drain. You understand this? It is not messing around. This is messing around means you get contaminated by material consciousness. And when you get contaminated by material consciousness, what happens? Spiritually you fall down. Krishna says, you fall. So therefore it is very important that we understand these roles and become very serious in spiritual life. Because the only way out of this contaminated consciousness is to come to the mode of goodness. And you cannot come to the mode of goodness if you don't practice a strong spiritual discipline. That is also explained. See, explained by Krishna again. It's explained by Krishna why we enforce this morning program and all the rules and regulations. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion and ignorance, pertain to material intelligence. Saw that? Just now we are reading. Is that? What is that? Material intelligence. And not to the spirit soul. By development of material goodness, one can conquer the mode of passion and ignorance. And by cultivation of transcendental goodness, one may be free oneself from the material goodness. You understand this point? That's why the emphasis is on the spiritual standards. The spiritual discipline. It is so important. If that thing is broken, then spiritually the soul is finished. You understand? If the mode of sense gratification come in, you can see here in this verse, in this place you see, when one's mind and senses are attracted to sense object for enjoyment, sex life is enjoyment. That's all it is based on the household of life. If it is centered on that, as a result of continually thinking of sense object, one's real consciousness almost becomes lost. Like the water in a lake that is gradually sucked up by the big grass straws on its bank. Now, when one deviates from his original consciousness, he loses the capacity to remember his previous position or recognize his present one. When remembrance is lost, all knowledge acquired is based on a false foundation. When this occurs, learned scholars consider that the soul is lost. You see how detrimental this whole thing is. It is not messing around. It's not just that we are just right now, do what you like. You understand? It deviates. It brings you further and further away from the spiritual path. You understand? It may start in a small way. What do you draw a line? When you draw a line, like the graph, it goes right. What do you call it? Tangent. It goes and it goes and it goes and it goes what? Miles away from the what do you call it? Origin. The origin. So we have to be very, very careful with this. That's why in this verse it says here, Mamchayo vyabacharena bhakti yogena sevate saguna samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engage in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances. You understand? There is no compromisation. No. There's no compromisation. Whatever you learn, the sadhana in the brahmachari life, that has to be strictly practiced in the household life, so that you can help what? Others. Because if he goes to this ashram and he compromises and he loses his brain, this is finished. Huh? No? Yes. Because in this ashram we can wake you up. Hey, Prabhu, Mangalati. In your ashram can you wake you up? It's not possible. Can. Now can, telephone. Well, telephone, you do not disturb. Finish. I have more important things to do. Do not disturb me. Finish. Understand? Very, very, you may think that it's family. No, they are listening to all the family comes first, Prabhu. Today's verse, if that sloka you apply, then where you go? Huh? Where you go? See, the whole setup, the nonsense, the whole setup is what? Family comes first. Don't disturb me on Sunday, my family, it's my family day, Look at the guy's brains. They are finished. Understand? We cannot think like this. That's why today Puranjan, you see, what's his name? Puranjan. How the analogy? The wife is drinking, he's drinking. The wife is sitting, he's sitting. The wife is doing this, everything the wife, everything. A plaything. Subtly he is getting influenced by all this stuff. That's why association woman is so dangerous. If he doesn't have good association, then he will be whimsically going like this king, Puranjan. You understand? They call you for the program and do some service. Prabhu, I cannot come. Why? I'm busy. Why? Actually the wife said you cannot go. Understand? See how this thing so dangerous. So please try to understand that the woman's role is to support the husband in spiritual activities 10%, because that is the only way she can also go back to Godhead with his help. And that is also explained in that verse. Just now we didn't finish reading. Krishna is explaining, women who desire good destination in next life should never abandon a husband who is not fallen from his religious standard, even if he is obnoxious, unfortunate or unintelligent, sickly or poor. So the woman, you see, Krishna is giving her role. Her job is to support her husband who should maintain his spiritual standard. Even the husband, you say, even Krishna is the husband is not fallen. Husband, even he is obnoxious, unfortunate, old, unintelligent, sickly or poor. Yeah, how much Krishna is saying here? There's a role. Her role is to support. And the husband's role is to some or other get to Krishna. That's why he is just not fallen. If the husband is fallen, he is useless. Both go to hell. Finish. The duty of the husband is to maintain the spiritual standard that he learned And the wife is to submit to that standard and help maintain the spiritual program. If the spiritual program is compromised, and they finish. They finish. I'm talking to one gentleman in Philippines. We're talking about how important the morning program is. Of course, we are preaching to one devotee. He never went to the morning program, and he came to us. He became very much impressed. He never heard of a Mangalarti, although he went to the ISKCON temple for 20 years. And he came to our temple in just 2 days. He said, "What? Mangala? What is that?" And then he started preaching to his friend who was in the other temple. "Oh, this is something I have not done for many, many years." Huh? So-called senior devotee has not done Mangala Arti for many, many years. And Prabhupada said, if you don't do this, you're finished. You what? Even though you advance, you will fall down. That's why the wife should understand, just like Gandhari. We gave the example many times. The moment she heard her husband was blind, what she did? Went to the father and complained, "But what kind of man, father you are? You found a man for me who's blind?" Huh? What she did? Immediately she tore the sari and tied it. I cannot be more than my husband. Finish. She was the queen, the princess. How they are trained to think. No, I cannot be more than my anytime. So when the person submit in this way, then yes, spiritually it become very potent. Submit, what is that verse? 558 is it? Purport?
588.
No, the 558 is it? That purport of that verse, how the family? 558, huh?
Mike, I was too close to her.
I think so. Yeah. So in this verse, this is spoken by Lord Brahma. This verse. Sometimes it is found among self-willed personality like Lord Brahma that the wife and children are not a cause of bondage. On the contrary, the wife actually helps further spiritual life and liberation. Nonetheless, most people are bound by the knots of martial relationship and consequently they forget their relationship with Krishna. Nonetheless, this is the point. But the husband and wife, children and wife can be facilitating, helping. But if they do not have the spiritual standards and understanding, nonetheless, most people are bound by the knots of martial relationship. Marital, is that how you say? Marital relation, and consequently they forget their relationship with Krishna. This is how. That's why Lord Brahma says, Lord Brahma is saying also, again here, oh, not this, 10 what? 10, 14? 36. What is one verse before? My dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachment and desires remain thieves, their homes remain prisons, and the affection feeling of their family members remain foot shackles. So until and unless we become devotees of Krishna. So therefore we should be very careful in trying to maintain our spiritual consciousness, because that's the only thing that can save us from this mess. If we try to compromise, like the man, I must please my wife sometime, like the king here, he walks behind. Well, I've seen also, he's carrying the handbag for the wife. The wife is walking in front and is carrying a handbag and walking behind. What is it? It tells us a lot of story by this action. You understand? So, and worse, if that consciousness is carried into the temple, then we have another problem to deal with. This Maya is coming in to our... Then I have another headache. So we have to be very careful. Everyone plays a part. Everyone plays according to their role, and there should be no problem. If someone wants to take advantage and manipulate, and then the thing will break. Finish. It's difficult to enjoy the senses in the temple of Krishna. It's not possible. It's not possible. Because if you are in a house somewhere privately, you want to do what, then nobody cares. Nobody isn't bothered. Right? But when we are staying in the temple, everybody is very important, closely linked. If one thing goes out, it's like a domino effect, and then everybody is. So we should be very careful. The woman has to know her role, the man has to know his role, everybody has to know. And this way we cooperate, and then we understand and serve Krishna very happily. We don't do that, then this is King Puranjan. If you become King Puranjan, what happens? The story goes on. Puranjan then thinking of his wife at the time of death. Then next life you take birth as a woman. And then he will play his cards on another man. And then again this goes on. And the story never ends. Today you are a man, tomorrow you may be a woman. Today you are a woman, tomorrow you may be a man. This way it is going on. Why we should do these things? And therefore, Krishna says here, in this verse, you see here, in this verse Krishna is saying, speaking to Uddhava, as long as we want to keep enjoying the senses, see Bhagavan Vacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, as long as the fully spirit soul remained attracted to the material body, senses and vital force, its material existence continued to flourish, although it is ultimately meaningless. Okay. As long as we want to keep enjoying this body, then our material life will carry on. And everything ultimately is meaningless. Okay? Actually, the living entity is transcendental material existence. But because of his mentality of lording over material nature, his material existence condition, existential condition does not cease. And just as in a dream, he is affected by all sorts of disadvantages. Yeah. Although while dreaming a person experiences many undesirable things, upon waking up he is no longer confused by the dream experience. So the waking up is very important. The spiritual wake up is very, very, very important. That's why we have to wake up in the morning, we have to carry on the program very strictly, and this is where we will not fall prey to Maya. Because if we associate with the women, especially, and keep listening to her, then our spiritual life is going to become a problem. It's going to become an issue. Alright, time's up. I'm sorry, it dragged you too long. We have to be very careful in our Krishna consciousness. We should not take this very lightly, because it can spiritually ruin us. That's why it says in this verse, the last verse, nevertheless, until by firmly practicing devotional service to me, one who has completely eliminated from his mind all contamination of material passion, one must very carefully avoid associating with the modes which are produced by my illusory energies. Right? Just as improperly treated disease reoccurs and gives repeated distress to the patient, the mind that is not completely purified of its perverted tendency will remain attached to material things and repeatedly torment the imperfect yogi. Right? So it is not something that we should be taking it very cheaply or lightly. Otherwise, just like Puranjan, become a dancing duck, that's it. Next life you become a real duck. It's a choice. Right? So be careful. Be warned. So okay, anything else? Any questions?
Seems a bit contradictory, but you say we are in our company, everybody is equal.
Everybody equal.
Then we are saying that there is difference. So how do you balance it out?
There's no, either you follow the Shastra or you don't follow the Shastra.
In the devotional service, we are said that there is no difference once you come to the Brahma-Gupta platform. So when you are on the Brahma-Gupta platform, the services are not differentiated. So how is it that it's differentiated now?
You can see the verse of Queen Kunti, Devahuti. Although they're not some ordinary woman, they're what? Transcendental.
Just like Srila Prabhupada, he asked the woman to do puja also. So he didn't see that.
Yeah, but he didn't ask them to do in India. Time and circumstance. He has the power to detail. Because outside India nobody knows anything. And short of manpower, what are you going to do? Like now we also in China, all the pujaris are women, temple president is woman, everything woman. What do you do? They're on bed. So but when you have the man, then the woman should be taking her role. Although there's no difference spiritually, but in the body there's difference. You understand? So as that Krishna says it's now the woman's role. Now you play that role. Because you're trapped in this body. Just like if you take the dog here and say, no, spiritually we are equal, I kiss the dog and the dog kiss me, can I? What? The dog will pass through here. We are spiritually equal, but he will pass through here because his brain is that of a dog. So you cannot, there's rules, you understand? So you have to play your role. That's why she says, what Kunti also says, and what's the name? Devuti also says, you're a woman, you're not so intelligent. Of course, she's very intelligent. If God is speaking to a woman to give the message to the whole world, she's not intelligent. But she never think like that. You understand? No, I'm not intelligent. I'm subordinate. Yes, the spiritual position. And we try to become, like now ISKCON. Oh, don't call me Mataji, I should be called as a Prabhu. What? Understand? And they get very offended if you don't call them as Prabhu. This is becoming over-intelligent. Prabhupada, yes, he addressed some woman as Prabhu. That's Prabhupada. Why he did that, that's just you have to ask him, but did it. But doesn't mean that he did it so everybody now should call every woman Prabhu. Give them the pants and the dhoti now. The sari you wear. But that's nonsense. Understand? So that woman has to be, everybody has to be humble. That's natural. But according to your role, you have to play that part. Then as you say this now, even though you do your role not, what you say perfectly, you are not implicated sinfully. Understand? That's what Krishna said, right? Huh?
That means if you do your role, others' role perfectly, you're still implicated sinfully.
Yes, this is the meaning. Even you do the others perfectly, still you are implicated because that's not your role. Understand? But cannot.
If I am doing another role perfectly, that means maybe I am meant for that role. Like a Vaishya, like we are saying, Lakshanam Broken. Yes, say Lakshanam Broken. According to the qualities, then that's your Varna. So if you are born in a Sudra family, but you have special thing for Brahmanical quality, then you follow that one.
That not now you decide. That not you decide. Decided by the Guru. Everything is decided by the Guru. You understand? Oh, I think, Prabhu, and then next day he comes, no Prabhu, I think now. So, we cannot work according to your mental speculation.
Today I feel like Kshatriya, tomorrow I feel like Brahmana.
Yeah. Then to Mangalati comes, I'm a Kshatriya Prabhu. When it comes to Prasaram, Prabhu, I'm Brahmin Bhojan. Yeah? What? What? Understand? This is decided. Your Varna is decided by the Guru. He orders you, you do this. That's it. And for the ordering of the woman, you do this. That's it. And then you order you and you try to supersede. No, the Guru don't know, I know better. Huh? You understand? So this is all whimsical kind of thing. Actually, you cannot follow the dictation of your mind. Period. Nobody. Everyone. That's why even to become a position of Guru is not that you simply pick up your bag and sit on the Vyasasana next day. No, wow, Prabhu, now I felt this. Prabhu, I'm qualified. You need to be ordered by your Guru. You need to be sanctioned. You understand? That is all whimsical. It is nonsense. And then when you fall down from the position of Guru, Prabhu, I was emotionally, I didn't satisfy my emotion. So I decided to change my ashram to go and satisfy my emotion. That is nonsense. Huh?
They say they were so dedicated in preaching that they did not nourish their emotional needs.
Yes.
Such a warrior.
Yes. They can start thinking of any, that's why I said, a materially contaminated person will conjecture many kind of crazy ideas to satisfy his lust. You understand? Just to satisfy his nonsense, he will think of clever ideas. Therefore, we have to follow Sadhu Shastra Guru. Anyone who does not follow the injunction of the Shastras, then it is finished. There is no room for speculation. Our system is very watertight. You understand? There is no what? Free for all. There is no such thing. So we have to be very careful with all this nonsense.
So, in personal experience, being in the household ashram, to compromise is so many options are there for compromisation. But sometimes you are put in a spot where you are forced to compromise. So what do you do?
This is the verse. How you should act is here. And then this is the one. And give me a minute, let me see. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing the love of Godhead do not like to do anything that's not related to Krishna. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders. Nor are they attached to the wife, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to execution of duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together. There's another verse. So they will tell you many things. You say, yes, good idea, but he will not do it.
7:14:6.
Huh?
7:14:6. Sometimes you cannot escape doing it.
An intelligent man in human society should make his own program of activity very simple. If there are suggestions from his friends, children, parents, brothers, or anyone else, he will externally agree. Simply saying, yes, that's all right. But internally he should be determined not to create a cumbersome life in which the purpose of life will not be fulfilled. 7:14:6. Actually, there's another one also. So we have to be very cautious in the household of our life. That's why the wife has to become very, very spiritually supportive. If she's going to create some cumbersome thing that is going to impose on the spiritual compromisation, that is very detrimental. And she should always be thinking, no. I should not allow that. You understand? That's the training. Support only the spiritual thing comes first. All the other thing comes second. Because that's intelligent. If they want to put the material thing together as first and then the spiritual thing second, the first is God. No, not God, the house. Huh? And God is secondary. God is what? Secondary. Everything for our family comes first and God will take him along for our sense gratification. If we go on that road and finish. That's why the women, they need a lot of guidance. Because just like the example is given, the Lord Shiva, his wife is Maya, and because he is associating with her, he himself gets contaminated. This is the position of Lord Shiva. Understand? Who are we to Lord Shiva? Huh? So therefore, only cause or recourse is to become spiritually well situated. Huh? So this is the lesson. So don't think you're beyond Lord Shiva. Understand? Understand how powerful I read many verses. How powerful my Maya is.
No, there is another way of looking at it. So then they will say, see, Lord Shiva also cannot how I can, so you must excuse me.
Yes. Yes. Lord Shiva cannot do, so who am I to Lord Shiva? Yes, that's a fact. But if you follow the instruction of your spiritual master and carry out his orders, then yes, Krishna says, Devi Yesaguna Maya Mama Maya Turatyaya Mam Eva Prapatyante Mayam Etantarantite. Understand? My Maya is difficult, but if you surrender unto me, you can overcome. But how to surrender to Krishna? Through his the spiritual master. then the order of the spiritual master, you'll be able to overcome this Maya. See, this is it. What is this? One must conquer the mode of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness, and then one must become detached from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Suddha Sattva. All this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. And this way one can conquer the influence of the modes of material nature. So it is only possible if we have implicit faith in the order of the spiritual master. Therefore, his order is you follow. Wake up in the morning, you chant your round, you follow Mangalarti, hear the class, everything you do, then yes, systematically you should have no problem. Prabhupada has assured us. But when you compromise all this morning sadhana, then finish. Difficult, very difficult. And mind you, in the household ashram, not to wake up is very strong. And you can cleverly dream of many reasons. I'm telling you, I know, I also been through that. I know that I didn't. But in I never miss one Mangala Aarti also. Even though I was in the household ashram, I never miss even one day. That's my record. I'm not bragging about it, but I'm just saying, if you can maintain, yes. As we said in the, just now the verse, and Prabhupada said, Prabhupada said here in the purport. By directly taking the devotional service, however one becomes filled with knowledge and renunciation, this way one's life becomes successful. And this is the knowledge, the secret. What is that? Strictly follow the sadhana. And you should have no problem. And you have to be preaching to your wife. You have to preach. Not let your wife preach to you. Then you'll be trouble. You understand? You should be guiding. Husband guides. No, wife guides. Then finish. Understand? Spiritual master, you go to take instruction or to give instruction? You go to the spiritual master to give instruction or take instruction? Give instruction. So the wife should go to the husband to what? Give instruction or take instruction? Huh? I tell you, you better go and tell him. Huh? But wife, husband has to go. Yeah, darling. Yes. And finish. He is the disciple of the wife. You finish.
We had such feminist devotees. We had such feminist devotees before.
Yeah.
We had a big problem.
Is it?
Wife dictating everything.
And if the wife does that, she becomes the spiritual master of the husband, then it's finished. Namarom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya, my wife Namaha. Then what will happen? Understand? So the wife should know this and never do these things. They will jeopardize my husband's position. Because if he's a dancing dog in your hand, then everybody will laugh. You understand? If the man is a dancing dog in the wife's hand, even the demigods will not take anything from his hands.
What is that verse?
Yeah, it's there. I'll show you again.
Even in Manusmriti.
Yeah, it's from the Manusmriti. The wife, if she is so, what we say, obnoxious and trying to become the guru, the husband becomes the dog, then he's spiritually finished. Finished. Understand? They're very dangerous. So we should be very cautious we not do these things. Yes?
The verse 3:21-42.
What is it?
A woman therefore should consider her husband, her house, and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer.
Yes. That's why it's very important.
What is the question?
It's like opposite to the point that following the
So it's saying it's the opposite of the point of calling husband and here it's like
7-11? What is that? I rewrote Krishna said already. Yeah. I already said, Krishna said it's finished. Krishna said? What? Wife serves what? Husband serves the wife. What? The Krishna said what? What did Krishna say? The husband serve the wife. What did he say? That's it, finished. No more question on that. Just follow that. You understand? Oh, darling. You know, darling. What?
What about in the scenario where the wife is a devotee and she brings the husband in Krishna consciousness and he doesn't know anything about Krishna consciousness?
Even though she brings the husband, she has to train him up to become a spiritual master. She always be submissive to the husband. You cannot be over, no.
But if the husband doesn't know anything about Krishna consciousness,
Even she can teach, but she should not be overbearing. Then the whole thing is gone. You understand? She always stand back and push the husband forward. That's the role of the women. Not to come in front of others. So what? Wait. The husband is behind, hiding. How does it work? Cannot. Understand? Always behind. Help. Then yes, everything becomes very conducive. If somebody misrepresent the role, then finish.
yesterday I was waiting at the airport. For him to come out. So there was another group of devotee who was waiting for his wife and children. So actually he was dressed not in a devotee clothes. I think he came from office or what. So the wife and children came out and the wife immediately go and touch the feet of the husband. And he said, Hare Krsna, then I saw it. And she came and touched the feet of the husband.
You did it. That is the
Indian expect.
Because he said that husband has to be a spiritual master, he should consider a supreme lord.
husband.
Husband should be considered a supreme lord.
For the wife.
But what if the husband is
Husband is what?
he's not up to standard.
Then if the husband is fallen, the wife can live in. If the husband is fallen, then the wife will go right to live in because he can't save her. She should of course not live immediately, but she should try to, reform. Just like Prabhupada's sister, husband was terrible, meat-eater, doing everything. But she personally, helped him and then he became a devotee. So that should be the mood of the woman. It's how to help my husband become spiritually advanced.
Mandodari was considered one of the chaste women. But why was she chaste when the husband is so fallen?
That even though he was so fallen, she remains rigidly chaste.
She will also go with him to hell.
I don't think so, Ravana did not go to hell. No? Ravana is, yeah. So different roles they play to show examples. So we have to learn these things. The Vedic culture is very, very broad. Of course, it's simplified by chanting, but the roles of everybody has to, is very synchronized. Then we can be living very compatibly. When we try to change things around and bring all this Western influence and this and that, then everything becomes chaotic. Equal rights, huh? Equal rights. Today you wash the dishes, right? Tomorrow is my turn, right? Equal right. Understand? Then fighting will start, quarreling, fighting. That's a problem. Anyway, that all we can say, but I'm saying, if you strictly follow the morning program that's given by Prabhupada, you will come to the mode of goodness. When you come to the mode of goodness, then all these problems will disappear. As I show you. Religious principles strengthened by the mode of goodness destroy the influence of passion and ignorance. When passion and ignorance are overcome, their original cause, irreligion, is quickly vanquished. So you follow this program rigidly. Morning, sadhana, chanting, hearing. I already said that 5 points, right? If you do this, do the service, and just sit. And you see how your consciousness will evolve. And you're no more bothered by all this nonsense. Your mind becomes agitated, all gone. This is spoken by Krishna also to Uddhava. Lord Krishna is saying. So please try to understand that Prabhupada has given us a formula to take us home back to Godhead. And if we try to compromise on his orders, then it is finished. And basically you can see ISKCON nowadays, who is waking up in the morning? Except only one person. Who? The Pujari. Everybody else is sleeping. Yes? No more morning program. Evening program. What is that? Gorahati, evening one. And finish. Alright, so be careful. Try to be conscious of this. And you know what will happen if I don't do this. There are problems. We don't want problems. We want to solve problems. That means we have to act not whimsically, but with sound conviction and understanding. That's why in this verse today, by knowledge we will overcome. By knowledge, we need knowledge now. We are hearing, yes, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. Understand? That's knowledge. And if we don't get this knowledge, then we will be lost. You understand? Very important. Okay, thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanandi.